Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Unplugged podcast, where we talk about everything, unscripted conversations about everything about life. And this is our first podcast.
Yeah.
So we just have one or two things to share with us. I am Nosa.
That's
I'm
really
Nosa
good.
Igbenova. This is...
I'm Godsent Ekato, and we've been together for a while, and we feel like this is a very nice way for us to reach out to people, young people, everybody from every walk of life. We're going to talk about very important things with very nice conversations. So
Okay, so we realized many times that we would just sit down at home and talk, and many of the things we said made sense. And we just ask ourselves, and say, okay, if we say these things outside, it will make a lot of sense to people. And we realized that there was no better way for people to hear what we had to say than to actually come outside and talk about them.
yeah,
And some days ago, my friend Godsent here was telling me about something that he would like us to talk about. And
Exactly.
we just said, let this be the topic of our first podcast. So he was telling me something, and I think it would be best that you actually bring it up so that we can, start talking from there and let
Yes.
everybody.
So we're in the house and we're talking about how many young persons, their approach to life or their view of the future, it seems very dim. Looking back some years before now, when you're talking about the industrial age, for example, there were a lot of inventions. You have people like Thomas Edison come with the light bulb, come with electricity, Nikola Tesla. There were so many things. Oil had just been discovered. Generally, the world was looking forward towards a boom, a rise to so many things, so many technology were coming up, and people were looking at what is going to come up in the future, what is going to come out in the future. But we're in a certain age where it's either we are thinking of what has not been made, or even if I have a great new idea, where are the resources with which I'm going to make this new great thing? So there's a certain, will I call it hopelessness, with which young people look at the future. So it has created this mindset of scarcity. Either it's a scarcity of ideas or a scarcity of resources to carry out what is in your heart. The other day we saw Elon Musk making a rocket, a self-landing rocket. Normally, rockets are used and
Disposed.
they are disposed, but now we have reusable rockets, and everybody's excited
now
about the advancements in human exploration and all of that, to space and all of that. But it takes a certain level of mindset for you to even think of that.
That thing is even possible in the first place.
As even possible in the first place. So looking at Africa, looking at Nigeria, there's this setting, this is Nigeria. What can possibly come out of Nigeria? The economy is down. Everything is down. So that was basically what we were discussing in the house the other day, and we're like, let's come up with that. Yeah. So we can see that. Okay, maybe I should not throw this back at you from what we said the other day, that what exactly should be a different approach or a different perspective to this idea that there's nothing in the future. Everything that has been invented has been invented.
Okay.
Or there's no resources for it.
Okay, there are many ways to look at that. As you were talking, I just remembered there was this documentary we watched one time when we were in school, the Men Who Built America.
Exactly.
And, one thing that documentary even taught me was the fact that America was built by individuals.
Exactly.
Capitalism and all of that. Of course, that would be another topic for another time.
Exactly.
But we learned that many of the people that made America to become the country it is today were not people that were necessarily government-enabled.
Exactly.
They didn't think in terms of... for instance, you see somebody like...
exactly.
I think it was John D. Rockefeller.
Yeah.
When he was thinking at a point of, how do I transport my oil? I think that was when he started the whole pipeline stuff.
Exactly.
Because he looked at everything as, okay, they were trains, but people had put... will I say inhibitions on how the trains could be used and all that, and people wanted to make money. And he just looked at it and said, okay, I can make something else. And he created the whole pipeline system.
Well,
now you can see that those few people like J.P. Morgan, John Rockefeller, we can all go and watch the documentary. I already mentioned the name.
Exactly.
But there were people that sat down and they looked inwards. Many times people our average person is like, what has the government done for us? What has the government? Our government has not done it. The sun is too hot. Government should install AC everywhere.
Exactly.
But many times when if we're not able to understand that there is actually an expanse of possibilities, we cannot even further society as we know it.
Exactly.
Imagine the people that made the plane or that made the car. I don't really want what we are saying to sound very idealistic, but sometimes we have to call back some of these inventions. Now they sound very big. Yes. Those days before they were even done this, they were probably crazy.
Exactly.
You know, but people actually sat down that had next to nothing compared to what we have now. Exactly. In our time now, we have AI, we have Google, we have everything. Those days, people didn't have Jack. Exactly. But they came out and they invented stuff. You know, people came out and believed that. So I feel like from what you are saying, the ability for us to even realize that, okay, there are possibilities outside of this norm that we are used to. Yeah. It can further society. You know, it can make everyday life better for the coming generation and even our current time. Yeah. You know, we were talking just now, one of the examples we usually use, for instance, is this whole POS something. Yeah. How that one person just started POS, and then before you move to every two NEPA poles, you see like 20 POS. I'm exaggerating, but the idea is that people came to a point where they felt that there was no better opportunity than that, and everybody was diving there. But what about if people start going into other areas and believing that, okay, I can actually, there's something here that I can take advantage of. There's something here that I can do. And it will not just profit them, but it will profit society at large. Society at large. Because many times when people bring something out, it looks like it's a pinpoint for them alone. Yeah. But when they solve the problem, imagine the person that made car did not make car, will still be riding horses or donkeys or whatever. So I feel like what you are saying is very powerful.
Yes. To add to that, if you look at the way the world is, or the way the world is or the world is created, the way the world is created, we see that in a way, resources are in excess, they're in surplus, almost inexhaustible. Yeah. We have streams, we have rivers, we have oceans. Yeah. And then sometimes you come on the news and you say there's no clean water in Africa.
Exactly.
So you wonder, where did all the water go to?
Which water were our forefathers drinking?
Which water were they drinking? Like what we also said the other day. There's, even the human body, even scientists have not been able to extract everything in the human body. Exactly. We don't know exactly everything that works. I was so shocked when I heard that not even all the animals in the world have been discovered. Yeah. Because I grew up with the mindset, all the animals, everything has been discovered, everything has been known, all knowledge has, like, it's almost as though everything has been known. Yeah. So that's what creates that mind of, there's nothing new to be explored. And it creates that unnecessary competitiveness. So you establish, like we said, POS business, or you start a new idea. Everybody wants to hold on to what they feel is working. Yeah. Yes. And even our economies as countries are designed around scarcity.
True.
Food is abundant. When they even say the economy is down, what exactly is down?
What does that mean?
What does that even mean? What is down? When they say the economy is down, or there's a crash in the economy, there's no money in Nigeria. People say this.
Where did the money go?
There's no money in Nigeria. Where did the money? Remember, every money that has been in this world has never left this world.
Yeah, true.
No money has come into this world. No money has left this world. So then we just come and like there's an economic recession. What has happened? What has happened most times is the human systems that we have put around these things. Yeah. There's abundance in the earth.
True.
There's abundance on this earth. True. This earth is made to sustain so many of this population. Yeah. There's things like we are getting overpopulated. There's so many uninhabited land masses on this earth. True. The water in this world, we cannot even drink it.
I remember that they say even if we open our mouth in the river, we cannot swallow the water.
We cannot finish all the water on the earth. And you start complaining that there's no water. When we were in school, they told us the purest form of water was pipe-borne water. So our economies are centered around scarcity. If we had a way to make oxygen scarce, we can create a business out of it.
So true.
We'll create value out of it. Oxygen is free. Yeah. So that's why it doesn't, like the air we are breathing now is free, because there's no way to trap it into a funnel where people can create a tool out of it. Yeah. So when we say things go down, it's our systems that have gone down. There's abundance on the earth. There's things, every resources for you to live your life over and over again is available. Because if it's not like that, then you cannot dream.
So true.
If you are going to dream, how
are you sure
the resources for what you are dreaming
on the earth
is even existing on the earth? Yeah. The guy that wanted to make the car, when Ford was trying to make personal car, he was not the inventor of the car though.
Yeah, batch process for cars.
Creating the batch process for cars and all of that. How do you think that the resources you need is available. Kekule had a dream for the benzene ring, and eventually found out that what he has seen in his dream was actually the structure of benzene.
Yeah.
So there are so many things that man imagines, and it's if the resources are already here on the earth. That is the kind of mindset we have. But many times we have faith in human systems. And human systems always crash. We had the Roman Empire. They're the one that started everything. They are the predecessors to our current democracy, our current way of thinking, our current way of life, even our calendars. So, but that system crashed.
Era crashed. The way we used to make it look as if systems that men have built came down from the sky.
Exactly.
They are inevitable, or they are what do we call them? Infallible.
Exactly.
So many times, for instance, young people come out, and I remember one day when one guy was so angry, he said, jobs not in our government. Everybody is depending on a system that human beings created. But because of how properly structured these systems are, these institutions are, people forget that they are based on human beings too.
Yes.
For instance, a government, like just now we were coming and you saw a hospital and you were like, is this hospital good? And everybody was like, yeah, the hospital is fine, the building is fine. But you're like, I'm not talking about the hospital, I'm talking about the doctors.
Exactly.
So you now realize that the system is only as good as the individuals in that system.
Exactly.
So as far as it is human hands that created this thing, the human weakness will be inside.
Exactly.
So if we are carrying our lives and submitting them to another set of human beings, now we're not saying that we should not look up to the government for what we put them there to do, but just saying that, like what you're saying, we should be able to think that, okay, there's actually something out there that I can tap into and make something great out of.
Exactly.
So that's actually very amazing. And I just remembered when we were talking about water, I remember the example we used the other day when we were like, why do we have to have bottled water? Why does bottled water have to be so expensive?
Exactly.
It's not because we are saying that bottled water is bad.
Exactly.
But we're just talking about the fact that this is water that God made.
Exactly.
I think after air, this has to be the second most
popular,
populous stuff on elements on the earth.
Exactly.
But because people found a way to make it look like this is a special type of water that another person has.
Exactly.
You're buying it.
Exactly.
You're paying for it. So this is, I
Exactly.
don't know how much this is currently, but
Exactly.
maybe another time somebody will come and say, this one is deionized.
Exactly.
Of course, those are probably, good things. Say the pH has been dropped. But what we basically do as people is that we try to make things scarce.
Yes, to create value out of them.
Because scarcity, the reason why we are not selling sand, why we are using gold, is because we have been made to believe that gold is scarce.
It's scarce.
So we like things that are not very much available.
If you start a music genre now, you can be very sure that, and God willing, it goes very well. You are a hit and everything.
Yeah.
In the next few,
somebody else will come after you.
You will see so many persons going after the same genre of music. So is it that there's no space? Is it that there's nothing more to be created? Is it that there are no new things to be created? Is it that this is only what can be? So I remember there was a time there was no WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So there was a time there was no WhatsApp. There was a time there was no Facebook. There was a time there were even no phones. And people were living, but someone just has to be dissatisfied with what is. And we must know that life is a chance at greatness.
Yeah.
Life is a chance to be great. Like, we're not here to
just eat,
live comfortably, have a good house, have a good car. Those things are good in themselves and they are necessary for whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But ultimately, history will only mark people who left a mark on the earth. We're talking about people like Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
We're talking about there are specific people in history that we cannot.
We all know their names.
We're talking
now.
about Napoleon Bonaparte.
Yeah.
There are many persons that you cannot. You remember them by the time you think of different eras of human existence. Exactly. So it's not because they lived very well, they were comfortable, and all of that. They changed the way we lived. So this is almost like a call to young people that you are actually a change. You are a resource. You are a resource being. See what we're talking about government. This handing over everything to government. Government should come and do this. Government should come and do this. Government most times are big organizations. And they are overbugged with so many things. They are just creating oversight. So many times, you are the one that have insight to various pain points in society.
True.
That's where your calling is. Because many young people ask, how do I know what I'm going to solve? What do I know my destiny is? Your destiny is looking for you. Your purpose is looking for you. Your pain points, what are your pain points?
Yeah.
You are commuting every day either from work to school or everything. What are your pain points? You are living. There's no network in Nigeria.
And you're always complaining every day. MTN network is bad.
This network is bad. That network is bad.
Yeah.
There are so many networks. So those are your pain points. What can you do about your pain points? That's basically life pushing you to do something.
Yeah.
And you can be rest assured that your resources are available. Many people will say, we don't know this. You know, in local parlance, we know those things. We know these things. We money we want to do. And I know many, when I was in school, I remember there were a set of students that made a car, a Nigerian car. Or the student made a car and all of that. But today, there's nothing to hear about it again. And we won't probably use those inventions. It's because we have not moved just beyond the stage of ideation. We have allowed what society has told us. That you need money, you need all these things, and you don't have those resources. It's just what comes to us. But everybody that started something started from somewhere. And they got help along the way. You start what you have. What do you have in your heart? What can you do? What is in your hand? What can you do? What do you want to address? You start out and see what comes of it. But this already resigning yourself to what is that hopelessness is
the other day when we spoke, there was a very powerful statement we made, and there's this statement that came to me one time when we were in school. Many times we say that where there's life, there's hope. But one day I sat and said that's not true.
Exactly.
Or it's true in a sense, but let me not say totally true. But most times it's where there's hope that there's life.
Exactly.
Because I was talking about the fact that most times when people are unable to see the end of a venture, something is terminated.
Exactly.
So, for instance, the reason why you don't bother attempting to go to, maybe you wake up in the morning and say, I want to go to Ring Road. What am I supposed to do in Ring Road? If there's no profitable venture, you just relax and stay at home.
Yeah.
So when there is no hope in any venture, something is terminated. And most times, that's what we are seeing. And many times that's a form of suicide.
Exactly.
Many times, not necessarily even suicide of life, the person's life, but maybe the person's destiny, the person's path, maybe.
Or an enterprise.
Yeah, an enterprise. For instance, when you start a business and you cannot see the end of this business, you just feel like this business will not succeed. Let me just end it. That's what happens with people's lives too. For instance, young people that maybe end up, self-harm, they look at their lives and say, what can this life become?
Exactly.
No, nothing. So let's just end it.
Exactly.
So many times, hopelessness results in termination. But like what we are saying now, when you are able to realize that there's an expanse above what we have all been able to interact with here. And I also actually want us to still talk a bit about that competition thing. Because you mentioned that when people are not able to see uniqueness, there is unhealthy rivalry, unhealthy competition, because I see this guy is doing this stuff works.
Exactly.
And first of all, maybe many times people don't even have enough confidence in themselves, but okay, just I like it to just.
And sometimes it also comes from the people we look up to.
Okay.
They force us into certain modes. You know how many medical doctor graduates we have in Nigeria?
Exactly.
An engineer. In fact, if you are going to school, it's almost like you're either going to be a medical doctor, you're going to be an engineer, a lawyer, or an accountant, or a banker. So there are many so-called stereotypes. There are many stereotypes, and there are many things we're not looking into. And we should also actually be very careful. Even with new advancements, we should be careful. There's this whole talk about AI and tech and all of that. And it's good. Our approach and how we use these things, technologies, are actually good. It's something to note. Because we see a situation where everybody's migrating into tech. Of course, we should find a way to integrate technology into whatever we are doing, whatever enterprises we are doing. But we are seeing many people just shifting careers. We see lawyers going into tech, doctors going into tech. For some, they have genuine reasons why they have to change careers. But some is the idea that this is the in thing
that's working
this
now.
This is in thing now. Go into tech. I have a friend who is making $2,000 from tech. He's doing a remote job. So he's on Upwork and everything. So what am I doing with this law degree? Immediately, you see people. And one thing you must know about technologies are always evolving, because there are people who are actually caught in those spaces and they are constantly evolving the technologies that we have. So you went to school for a law degree or for a medical degree, and you're just trying to learn one or two codes or 1 or 2 courses in tech.
Exactly.
That technology is already obsolete in 2-3 years.
Another new one will have been created.
Another new one has been created, and a whole line of programmers or a whole line of skill sets is no longer needed. You understand? So you must take up things with the heady mindset. You must know that whatever you have been given is needed. There is going to be need for innovation in the food space.
Yeah.
There's going to be need for innovation in clothing, in fashion, in architecture. You know, the other day we were talking about these new styles of houses we've been seeing. Where do these ideas come from?
Yeah.
We just go to the market and like, no, this is the new glass now.
Who decided
that this type of window they now?
Exactly.
So who decided that? Who are those innovating in those spaces? Those are the people who are actually gaining from those systems. When cryptocurrencies came, Bitcoin came, forex trading, many young people just run into it. Not because they really understand how these things work or because they have a passion, but it just seems like an escape.
Yeah, this is the easiest way now.
It just seems like going to crypto. Bitcoin is rising. Everybody's going. Exactly. Not because they have a proper understanding, but it's still that fear of, let me not miss out of what can get me. So it's still the same thing we're talking about. So it creates unhealthy competitiveness. So everybody, and funny enough, we water the value of those courses or those careers. Everybody wants to be. If there are so much doctors everywhere, where are the patients that will be treated?
Yeah.
There's so many things. For example, looking directly at our own country, we farm a lot of produce, but there's no storage, there's no processing, there's no manufacturing. We still have to import things that we produce the raw materials here in Nigeria.
Yeah.
For example, we want to look at Bonvita. I'm even calling it Bonvita. When we look at beverages, we make cocoa here. We produce a lot of cocoa. We export it. Then we go back and import the processed produce. It ought not to be so. Milk, the same thing. We have cows. We have goats. There's goat milk.
But our own can never be the.
So nobody wants to go into that space, but everybody's going to tech because that's the only thing that is out there. Everybody wants to do tech, and people are actually making money. Those who are actually innovating in some of these spaces. So I think that.
And as you were talking, something came to me. You know how we were also mentioning that this thing is not just a Nigerian thing. It's not just an African thing.
It's not an African thing.
This scarcity mentality is a world thing.
It's a world view.
For instance, they'll tell you that there was a global economic recession.
Exactly.
You know, okay, what do you mean? And that also let us remember that as much as Africans seem to, Africans, Nigerians in this context now, seem to have this problem a lot, there are also problems with the foreign system.
Yeah.
And I remember we're talking about, because ultimately we are still going to end up there.
Yeah.
Talking about the main reason why some people end up even leaving the country as a whole.
The old jackpot trend.
It's basically because of the same thing we're talking about. Everything abroad is fine.
Everything is
Everything
good.
abroad works.
Some people, by the time you even talk to some people, they'll tell you that, yes, we know that every country has their problem.
Exactly.
But Nigeria's
problem is not.
Then some just tell you that the insecurity in Nigeria is just so high. And many times, these conclusions are not based on facts.
Yes.
The reason why they're just popular opinions that people are just rehearsing or re-saying again.
Yeah.
Because how did you know that Nigeria is not safe in comparison with other countries?
Exactly.
I think, was it sometime earlier this year that there was this riot in the UK with the UK police and some of the citizens, and it was really, really messy. It was almost like a third world country.
Yeah.
So even this classification, first world country, second world country, third countries, it pushes those narratives on people. It pushes those mindsets on people. So people just want to run. Let's go to Europe. Let's go to Europe where they have it all great. And just live good.
As if once you just get there, there's just money on the floor.
There's just everything.
Just nice.
So you still find out that eventually you will get there and you'll still be average. Of course, the idea many of our people have in going there is to repatriate funds back to Nigeria where you can set up something nice for yourself because they have a higher currency and all of that. But to make an impact in that space, you'll not be able to make an impact in that space if you don't have the right mindset and if you're not deliberate about it.
Yeah.
It will not passively come to you that just being in Europe or being in a foreign country is just going to make you great automatically.
Yeah.
You will have to deliberately push for it.
True.
Yeah.
So. And it's I just recollect that, you know how we always say that Nigeria is one of the best places to start up something new.
Yeah.
Start up a business, start up anything.
Yeah.
You can just walk up outside this place now. We're in the studio now. You can just go to the front, put a table there, put one or two things there, and start selling. And people come to buy from you.
Yes.
You can set up anything. Go and try it in other countries.
Exactly.
You have to pay for permits.
Yes.
You have to. And it just shows you how different systems are structured.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like you were saying, when you go there, the structure there may allow you to survive.
Exactly.
You know, one main thing is that you go there, there'll be menial jobs, you can survive, you can wash plates, you can, but greatness, like what you were saying, you may not be able to get to that level.
Greatness is...
We don't want to start talking about their policies now, but even of recent, you've been seeing the way they've already been witch hunting some. It's almost as if when people start trying to get to a level, besides in policies, taxation, you know. So we have a system here that looks as if, yes, people that are the lower levels tend to suffer because, but sometimes that unsettlement is good.
Exactly.
Because when you are down there, you are striving to lead, like, man, I need to be better.
Exactly.
When you go to a place where it looks as if everything is just, you can get to a point where you become so comfortable with the norm and the status quo that you don't really see the need to push.
Exactly.
So many people that are even running, we have people there now. We talk with people.
Exactly.
You know, we communicate with people, and then they're always like, but at the end of the day, you don't want to be the guy that after you sold your property to go abroad, you now come and tell them that this place not go well. You won't do that because your pride is at stake.
Yes.
So you see to everybody that,
exactly.
you know, you see everybody that, yeah, it's working. You have to keep up a front. You don't want to discourage the guys back.
Yes.
But I remember you were saying something about the necessity of also moving.
Yes. Even when we get to this utopia that everybody wants to see in Nigeria or see in Africa, or in anywhere anywhere in the world, people will still move.
Yeah.
People have been moving since when men have been on the earth. People have always been migrating. Migration will always be part of course, we exchange ideas.
Yeah.
That's in contrast to being unnecessarily competitive. It's the fact that there's a room for sharing.
Yeah.
There's room of exchange of ideas. There's a room for growth and learning from one another. You know, everybody just wants to outshine the other person, but there's actually a space where I can learn from you, you can learn from me.
Yeah.
We can exchange resources, we can exchange ideas. So people will still move, and there are people that really need to move out of the country. There are people who need to get skills, need to get into different contacts.
People need to even go there and help them over there.
Yes, people need to take solutions from here over there. This is weird to say, that there are solutions in Africa that is needed in Europe and in other advanced parts of the world.
Yeah.
There are solutions that we have.
Yeah.
Even if you look at things like family life, for example.
Yeah, our communal lifestyle.
Our communal lifestyle here in Africa supports the family life a lot.
True.
Even when we complain about Nigeria so bad and all that, it's going to be very hard for you to sleep on the streets in Nigeria, even if you are without money.
Get at least one brother.
There must be somehow. The other day when we went to Uniben the other day, see young people with phones.
Exactly.
That could pay their tuition for the entire period.
Yeah.
Most young people use iPhones.
Exactly. And how much is the cheapest iPhone?
How much is the cheapest iPhone? And you're wondering how. It's community.
True.
It's contact. It's friends. It's brother. It's sister. It's aunties. The way people come out. Our communal lifestyle supports the family a lot. There are a lot of people that are going to school. There are people that are in business because of a friend, because of an uncle.
Yeah.
And we may not necessarily get that or neighbors sometimes. You can just come into a state that you have not been in Nigeria and meet anybody, even at the bus park, and say, I need help in this direction. And somebody is likely to help you.
Yeah, true.
So even in that utopia that you're looking, people will still need to move. And resources will need to be exchanged, ideas will need to be exchanged. So that is also
I think the challenge is, what is your reason for doing
what is the reason why you're even living?
Exactly. Because you just want to run. You just
escape because
because many times people are not able to settle down and know things for themselves.
Yes.
We just got that popular opinion.
Exactly.
And we start taking choices. And I know we always say that sometimes everybody can be wrong.
Everybody can be wrong. So they keep saying this. And that's why our media also has to play a very good role for us. They keep saying Nigeria is bad. We keep hearing bad news every day.
Yeah.
They keep saying it's just always continuous. Nigeria is not working. This is not working. Every day. So young people are going to a point where they are desperate. People even go through the deserts.
Just to leave.
Just to leave the country. People just look at you on the street like, anything you can do, leave this country. Leave this country.
Let's go.
So immediately the fright comes on you that what are you doing here? Leave this country. People say that if you can find a way, leave this country.
Yeah.
And so the general perception is that of hopelessness. Nigeria is not working. Things are not working. What are you still doing here? If God helps you, you find some money, take your family, run here. If it's even the insecurity, just run. Nigeria is not the most insecure place in the world. Nigeria is not the most expensive place to live in the world.
True.
But everybody wants to live. Even in Europe, it's not all that great. The house you are living in Nigeria, can you afford it in the UK when you get there? The lifestyle you are able to keep up here,
can you do it there?
Can you keep it up there?
So true.
So you should not go because Nigeria is so bad. In fact, those pinpoints are actually an indicator that you have a mission in this regard. You have something to do in this regard. Yes, you can go get skills, get resources to help you achieve those things, but it should not come from that point of desperation. You don't want to be a sales girl, like we call it. But you want to go and be a sales rep in Europe. You want to go and be a sales rep in Europe. You will not wash plates in Nigeria. Yeah.
Or you wash anything.
You wash anything. You wash anything in Europe.
Yeah.
Because, again, mindset. When you get there, there's the hopeful, I'm in a great land. Things will work for me here. And funny enough, that's why many Nigerians do well in the diaspora.
There's really hope.
It's because there's hope. So, like you said, when there's hope, there's life. So, immediately you come there. So, even when you are washing plates, which seems like a menial task there, you feel like this thing will bring out results. So, when we cut off that for our young people here, so what am I doing? You even see people that have jobs, they shut down their jobs, shut down their businesses. I know of a number of pharmacies that have closed down. The owners have relocated abroad. You are wondering, to do what? What do you want to go and do there? You still want to go there and still work and live. So, what were you doing here? Were you not working? Were you not living? Some of them have houses. They sold their houses.
You know, everything we've been saying so far and all, it's usually nice that we're able to congeal everything to a solid point, because if we don't, it will just be information, and we don't want it to just come off like we're doing motivational speaking. So many times we're the ones talking so we can distill our points, but it's usually nice that we are able to just help people to know that, okay, this is what we actually want you to get from the conversation. This is what we want you to know. So what do you think that we are trying to get people to know? So let's try and see how we can just...
Okay, to just distill the points.
to distill our points.
Well, basically from all we've discussed is, first of all, hope. Let your hope come alive.
Yeah.
Because fortunately, we have great people, young people doing great things, even in the country. And these are people that have gotten their hope alive. These are people that we can see that they believe in a future in this country. They believe in Africa. And they believe in the world. They believe in greatness. So the hope must come alive. And you must take deliberate steps towards that goal. Deliberate steps. And sometimes these steps may be painful.
Painful steps, exactly.
Painful steps. You may have to sell your phone.
Exactly.
That you don't need. Some people are using premium phones at a stage in life that they don't even need those kind of phones.
True.
Some people are wearing premium clothes, premium shoes. That it took everything to get.
You had to rally your family to buy that shoe.
So if you could do that for just to maintain a certain appearance, appearances are good, but your dreams, where are they?
Yeah.
Where are you in your dream? Why you are complaining that the government is not giving you the resources you need?
Yeah.
What do you have in your hand?
True.
What can you start? What have you invested? If you expect people to help you in your dream, what have you invested in your dream? What have you sacrificed for your dream? So I think those are very deliberate steps, because traveling to Europe is not cheap.
Exactly.
But the exodus of people from since 2020.
How people raising that amount to even...
The amount of money it requires, it's a lot. And these are people supposedly are suffering, so people who don't have resources. They are raising the money. They are fleeing the country. So there's resources if you really make your mind towards it. And even as much as we talk about the government, there are some government programs. I've enjoyed some benefits from the government. Not because I had any special favor, but they're just general things that have been pushed out for the youth to apply for different programs. And there are different programs that are run in countries. You may not be a beneficiary of some of those programs, but there are other programs even pushed by NGOs, by private organizations and all of that. if you open your eyes, you will see the resources. Many times we are like the man that's in the river and is complaining of thirst. If we really want to get these things done, there are resources. There are people. There are good-hearted people. There are grants. There are help. There's help available. If we really want it, we'll get it. So I think there should be deliberate step. There should be sacrifices. We should be ready to make the sacrifices.
Obviously, we're not trying to downplay the challenges in our society.
Not at all.
Because when people hear us talking like this, they say, oh, these guys, they never see anything, they never suffer.
Exactly.
You know, people don't know what they won't know what we've gone through.
Yeah.
How as a students, even when we did not have to do some things. I remember when I had to go and say, I was selling bread, toast bread, as a student in school. And my classmates were looking at me and say, what's this guy doing with himself? But you know, it's not because we're trying to downplay the challenges. We're not trying to say that everything is good. We're not playing the ostrich. But what we're trying to say is that at the end of the day, life will give you what you demand from it. And what you prioritize is where you put your energy. So just like what you were saying, you have that very you because you feel traveling abroad. Let's not bash traveling abroad too much. But because you feel getting this iPhone, getting this laptop is important. You break all the bridges, you know, you push, you talk to everybody, you forgo shame. If you put that level of passion, shame. Exactly. But if you put that level of passion and say, this is what I want to do, I don't care what anybody thinks, I'm going to go for it. Somehow I believe that you'll be able to push enough.
Exactly. So,
you know,
let's end on the high notes.
So that's
the high note.
Yeah, okay. So let that be the high note we're ending on. So thank you everybody for joining us. Subsequently we'll be having a lot more talks. I think we have not finalized, but from the next podcast we'd like to delve deeper into the whole concept of something special, exactly. Something special.
We'll talk about the economy.
Exactly, economy, money specifically, because that's one of the major challenges. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff.
Many times people don't even know what money is.
So true.
Exactly.
And people are just caught up in that. We have to make money. What exactly is it? Money. What is money in itself? Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for listening to us. Drop your comments in the comment section. Tell us what you think. What do you like about what we said? If you disagree, that's fine. You know, just talk. We want to hear you. Want to know what you have to say.
Ask your questions.
Ask your questions. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much. See you in the next episode. Stay unplugged. System got me locked up in the matrix. They try to run me.